Hello.
Hi,
I'm Genevieve.
I'm John.
We're making this video to kind of introduce our site. We just started, and all of the content you're probably going to see on YouTube in this channel. The site that we started is coopgaming.info. Coop Gaming, it looks like in the URL.
Yeah, coopgaming.info.
Anyway, we started it because we like to play games together, and there's not enough couch co-op games anymore to kind of play. We kind of talk a little bit about that in some of the articles on the website. But so what we did so that we could play games together in our living room is game sharing on the PlayStation that requires two PlayStations. You want to explain a little how
Sure.
it works?
Well, the game sharing is really cool because for people who want to play games together, say there's like two people, me and Genevieve, we're married. I don't know. I don't know if we want to reveal that, but whatever. So if there's a game that, or there's not many games that two people can play together. Typically, like when we were first thinking of playing games together, we were really restricted to like couch co-op games. So, for instance, like Borderlands 2 on split screen,
Yeah, and then
and
all those older games that you could get on PlayStation Now, and I think we actually bought PlayStation Now
right, we
for a
bought
little while so that we
yeah,
could
yeah,
play
we
those.
bought PlayStation Now for a while to play like some older kind of like couch co-op games. And anyway, the game sharing was a real revelation to us, in particular, because it sort of opened up the universe of games that we could play together. Like, we could play Borderlands 2 split screen, but we could also play it online via like PlayStation Network. And on top of that, there were a ton of other games that we couldn't have played without game sharing, like, I don't know, like Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, yes. So the game sharing lets one person kind of be the parent account. So any games that they buy, the other person can play as well. Anyway, so on the website, we're only really going to review and talking about games that two people can play together and kind of complete the game. And in different games, it's easier or more difficult for two players to play. Like some are designed for four, and we played Monster Hunter together pretty much till
Oh,
the end,
right.
despite the fact the difficulty setting might have been a little harder with just two players in there.
Right, but that's what was really cool about game sharing is that typically two people can only play Monster Hunter together who like, they're like friends and they each have a PlayStation. So we were able to play Monster Hunter World together via game sharing. And that was sort of like in a way it was the impetus for us making the site just because there's all these games that you could play in this kind of strange game sharing slash couch co-op style, but it's actually really hard to find what they are on the internet, and it's even harder to find if they're good to play together, or if they're if they're fun games in general. And I was talking to my brother a little bit about the website, and he immediately just recommended like Overcooked, and like that's like a typical like two player or like game that like a husband and wife or
Oh
a
yeah, that
boyfriend.
people recommend, and we've played that game, and that that game is just awful to
Right.
play.
It sucks. I mean, in
It
a lot of
sucks.
ways it sucks because like you don't
It's
always
way
want
more just about your speed and manual dexterity with the controller, and it's
right.
not actually like a rich game you can really like get into or feel yourself progressing.
Right.
All
And
you progress in it is in how fast you can get to the hamburger station, like
right,
make that
right.
hamburger.
And like in a lot of ways you could never like waste your life playing Overcooked.
Oh
And like
yeah,
the
yeah.
games that we tend to like to play are ones that you could sort of like compulsively get into and like burn months of your life if
Yeah,
necessary.
yeah. The ones where they really try to make it worth your $60 or whatever.
Right, right.
I think a lot of the games on the Switch are a little more like Overcooked, although I know there's some good games there that people can play co-op.
Right. And we definitely don't know what like all the co-op games there are out there, but like it's
In the
kind of
world, yeah.
yeah, it's like a constant source of like discovery, and like, you know, when we when like a new game comes out, we're always kind of like trying to see if it's like a 2-player game or if there's like online modes, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Oh, and I wanted to say that our site is basically PlayStation exclusive for now. We have a Switch, but our setup is mainly PlayStation, so more console focused than anything else. We don't have enough space in our apartment to have a huge computer setup for both of us
Right.
to play games
Yeah,
on
yeah,
there or anything
yeah,
like that.
and like that sucks because there's lots of like MMOs on computer that we could possibly play, but we don't get into those just because it's computer.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and so then I wanted to say
All right, well,
we started playing games relatively recently in our lives, only in the past couple years or something. And I started out as someone who couldn't even use the controller. I didn't play games as a kid. I had no clue how to do anything at all in a video game. Now I can somewhat play. So if you're a person who's looking for couch co-op games, or you're a guy who has a girlfriend who hates video games or doesn't want to play them or doesn't have any clue about them like I did, let us know what you think of the site. Oh, and we're going to be posting an article pretty soon. This kind of like introduction, how to get up to speed and get good at video games if you've never played them at all, like I hadn't until a couple years ago.
yeah, and just for like us, Genevieve was like really bad at games in the beginning. Like,
Just horrific.
like,
I'm still
yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'm still pretty bad.
She still can be pretty bad, but she got to be pretty good at like pretty many different video games. So, you know, she went from not being able to hold the controller basically and like not knowing,
Just being awful at everything.
yeah, and still don't know what the buttons always are. but you know, she
able to function and enjoy the games
right,
at least a little bit.
She got to the point in certain games where she could beat other players in PvP, which to me is like, that's like the highest game achievement you can really have, is to just beat other players. And so, you know, if Genevieve could kill people in like online PvP, then probably like anybody could.
Yeah, yeah.
Or anybody who's willing to kind of like try and improve at it and stuff. So
I will say it still takes me much longer to learn a new game than it takes John, which may be a result of not having played games as much, or maybe I'm just kind of learning disabled when it comes to learning those video games.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I played PlayStation as a kid, so like the controller is almost like second nature to me for as much as I played PlayStation as a little kid.
Yeah,
so.
And I think it's more than that. It's all the game formats, and when you're learning the cues and the prompts that are kind of in the screen, you're always like screaming that you see all of those, and like it takes me forever to even notice them or pay attention to.
Oh yeah, and that's like another thing, is the games give like cues and stuff, and Genevieve is still like slow at picking them up, but she does pick them up. So like that's
I'm a hopeful case if you're someone who's never played any games before.
Right.
So the games, our favorite games, the games we spent the most time playing. We spent a long time playing ESO together. I think we kind of talked a little bit already about how a game like Overcooked probably isn't something that we're going to review or spend too much time playing or interest us at all. We mainly play RPGs.
Right. I mean, we like RPGs, I guess, or games with RPG elements.
Right now we're playing Path of Exile.
Yeah.
And we should be getting a review for it on the site pretty soon. When did we start playing? A couple months ago, and now we're like level 80 or something.
We started maybe like a month and a half ago, I guess.
When it was released for PlayStation.
Oh, yes. When was that? I don't quite remember.
I think it might have been in March, so a few months now.
Right, and we've gotten pretty far in that, but like Path of Exile is kind of in the genre of games we like, where there's a lot of RPG stuff going on and skill trees. There's like gear, and you can kind of like grind. I guess we like grindy games a lot, and like
John always says I love mobs.
Oh yeah, Genevieve loves mobs, or like mobiles or monsters, and like any game where it'll throw like packs of about 50 monsters at you, Genevieve really likes. I guess I really like them too. But what else? I don't know. But like we were into Fortnite for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say that I feel like next after we kind of finish Path of Exile, or we want to get to the hardest content, at least it's in synthesis mode, which is what we're playing kind of before finishing up playing it for now, writing an article. But we might start playing NBA Live after that.
Yeah, yeah. So we were kind of thinking as far as like games we review, we want to get to like the end game of it
Yeah.
where like you can really talk about the game. And like so many games are like that where there's kind of like the shitty like leveling up part of the game where you're kind of like supposed to be learning it a little. Then there's this like end game that's made for people who are compulsively playing. And like in Path of Exile, I think those are like the high tier maps. But you always hear people talk about like end game in ESO, or how like certain games don't have an end game. Like people talk about how Anthem sucks because it doesn't have an end game. So like we like to get to like the end game, or the part where like you can really be talking intelligently about the game with other like high level players, I guess. So that's like another thing we aim for, is just that we want to like know about the game a little bit before putting too much out there about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I wanted to say, if you check out the site and want to recommend any game to us to play after
Right,
Path of
yeah.
Exile that you think we might enjoy,
Right.
we'd love to. I was gonna say, we haven't really played any sports games, and we got NBA Live, and it seemed like kind of an exciting game.
Right. And a lot of people are gonna go at us for like choosing live over 2K. But like a lot of people think 2K is a lot better of a game.
Oh yeah, let us know. Let us know if you
Right,
have an
but
opinion on that.
yeah,
I- we have that older one. Right.
oh yeah, we have an old version of NBA 2K where they wouldn't like let us play online together because
Oh yeah, because it was too old of a version.
yeah, it's no longer supported or whatever. But speaking to that, we definitely welcome any like game recommendations, because we're not too creative ourselves as far as like choosing games to play.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So we wanted to talk a little bit about how the articles are written on the website, because it has both of our names as the byline, which is just kind of weird. It's like, who's writing it? Who are you talking to? But it's really like a kind of like a hodgepodge procedure, where some of the articles I wrote entirely, and then John kind of edited or um, added some sections, and some of them John wrote, and then I edit and add sections, and some of them I think we both write and edit each other's huge sections. So that's why in the article sometimes it's a little weird, because it's talking about what we did in the game, or who did what, and then using like our names. So we just wanted to explain a little bit about that. It's basically, I guess, like a democratic process, is it? We contribute
Right.
equally for the most part.
You're talking to me instead of the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I gotta talk into the microphone.
Oh yeah. So okay, there was a lot there. Yeah. So we both kind of participate in writing the article. So the voice is maybe a little bit inconsistent. So I mean, part of it is of making this video is just putting our faces on here somewhere on the internet, so that if you end up consuming the articles, maybe you would consume this as well, right? And then you'd know a little bit more about who was like writing that, or you know what's going on there, just because it's like a little strange for two people to be
Yeah, yeah.
like
Creating a written product together at all is
right.
like a little weird.
Yeah, and like maybe it's a little too like egalitarian, but anyway, probably most people wouldn't even notice that too much.
So the last things for the introductory video is just the kind of content you can expect to see us posting. We're probably going to be posting a lot. Usually the stuff we upload to YouTube is kind of something that we're talking about in the article. Sometimes it's just stuff we think is interesting from the game we're playing, or some of the more difficult content in the games we're playing. So we're probably going to be posting a lot more of that.
Right. Just like gameplay segments, I guess, is going to exist on the channel. So, you know, I don't know if people would find that too interesting, but we'll have lots of like videos that are kind of like meant to complement or go along with like one of our articles, I guess.
Yeah, so if you see something on YouTube, you can probably check out something we wrote about it over at the website.
Oh,
It's
right.
coopgaming.info. Again,
Mm-hmm.
coopgaming.info.
Right. And the URLs, it should be in part of the image right now, too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So check us out. The last thing I think we wanted to do here, John's PlayStation handle is the pigeon. Mine is Skecker. We have a pet pigeon. So we wanted to just show him, but I gotta go get him.
Okay. I guess I'll just try to talk about something.
Yeah, let's see what should you talk about?
Well,
I'll go get him.
okay, and you didn't do a good job talking about like the content either. Okay. So, the other thing is we're not sure how regularly we're going to be able to do this. Maybe we'll be able to do it regularly, but we wanted to do kind of like a podcast type thing / vidcast where we talk about parts of games or like interesting things in games that aren't not or that the games that we're playing that maybe isn't completely worth writing about. So that's what's gonna mostly exist on our. Oh my God, he just flew away.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, so you gotta look at him. I wanted him to like coo into the microphone a bit, but I guess that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I think he was freaked out because we're over here talking to ourselves, and
right.
he didn't want to be involved with that.
This is really strange behavior. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think we did a pretty good job so far. So.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to say we found him when he was a baby. If you'd like to know anything more about pigeons or keeping them as a pet, which I don't think we would recommend.
Oh, well, yeah.
Let us know. We'll make another video about pigeon ownership, although there's some guys on YouTube probably who've covered that already, but
right. Well,
ask questions if you're curious.
Yeah, we have our own like unique pigeon ownership story.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we like them. I mean, I really like pigeons. I don't know.
Well, thanks for watching if you made it.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
And thanks for checking out the site. Let us know. If you couldn't tell from this video, we're completely shy, not used to used to making YouTube videos, talking in the mics or anything about this, but
we might get better at it eventually.
We really want to kind of meet more people who play games in the same kind of bizarre manner we do, which is trying to like do couch co-op and trying to play games through with another person. So
right. And one last thing is probably most people know this or maybe not, but the games are a lot funner if you play them with a friend. And
yeah.
Like ultimately, I'm not even sure if I could be like a gamer or a gaming guy if I was just like playing games by myself. And playing with Genevieve really opens up like it makes a lot of games like more appealing or funner, and like if you do something with another person, it's usually better than just like doing it alone. And gaming can definitely be like a really solitary behavior.
Oh yeah.
So like I mean, yeah, we like to play the games co-op. We like to play together and stuff. So I mean, that's ultimately what the whole idea of the website is. Right. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and so recommend us games if you want to, and let us know what you think.
All right. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.